I wanted to start out by just kind of going through a general history of where Black Panthers have been up to this point. I believe starting specifically with like a solo run leading off of Jungle Adventure. He actually took that book, I believe, from Tarzan, I think. But Christopher Priest got Black Panther years later for Marvel Knights. And Christopher Priest coming to do these books for Black Panther was big because Black Panther needed a big book at the time. Christopher Priest wanted to recreate what Stan Lee and Jack Kirby did in that original appearance of him in Fantastic Four, where he was this overwhelming force who invited the Fantastic Four to his house for them to get dunked on. I definitely understand why he wanted to make Black Panther this larger-than-life figure into his own quotes, something more akin to Bruce Wayne, something more akin to Batman. We then move into Reggie Hudlin's run from there, and you could tell that with Black Panther, there was like a love for the character there. Like, he was reading those original Jungle Adventure books, and he used to complain to Dwayne McDuffie. Reggie thought he was getting beat to the pulp. He didn't like that. Like, he did not have any appetite, quote unquote, to see Black Panther, get beat to a pulp and then come back. He didn't see Bruce Wayne getting beat to a pulp in any comic book. He kind of furthered that Christopher Priest notion of what he could be by kind of creating this more like full world around T'Challa. This is when we start to move into the actual modern era, and we start to see some controversy with Ta-Nehisi Coates' run in 2016, I do believe. I appreciated this run because it somewhat removed Black Panther away from the Batman archetype, right? It took him back into this position of being a political leader and the consequences of what happens if someone transgresses against Wakanda? We then fully move into where I think people really start to have a problem with T'Challa with the Ridley run. And that's where you start to see the Black Batman failsafe. Essentially, T'Challa has a bunch of contingencies. If you can threaten Wakanda, he has a plan to stop you from doing it. Since we're paralleling him to Black Batman this whole time, you might not get the same amount of sympathy you might have gotten if you were Bruce Wayne. I'll put it like that. We also go into this idea of Wakanda wanting to be a democracy in a very similar way to like how the British monarchy runs right now. Eve Ewing leans into that by doing like a T'Challa in exile story, which I believe got a little bit overhated, but ultimately putting T'Challa at odds with Wakanda is going to have some folks a little bit upset. That leads us somewhat into where we're at now, where T'Challa's best book is probably The Ultimate Universe with Brian Hill. I love this book because he writes it kind of like Game of Thrones. You can kind of feel that there's like a uneasiness to the throne, and that like whoever sits on the throne kind of might get, if they don't do something correctly. And that's kind of where we're at to now. Now we have the world to come with Christopher Priest coming back now to write again from Marvel Knights. And